The majesty of the world's alpine ranges and the unique creatures of those high countries have gripped the adventurous since the very first reports of them began filtering back to civilization. Grand mountain ranges epitomize freedom and fortitude, which, then and now, is the living spirit of the mountain hunter. Certainly the truest vision of the world's unspoiled apex is the male wild sheep. The wild ram embodies the pomp, the regal dignity, and the splendor of the high country like no other animal. He is the intriguing monarch of the mountaintops, a superstar among a hunting culture that celebrates his existence and longs to hunt him even though he is always another 4-hour climb away. As Theodore Roosevelt once wrote, he is wary. Great skill and caution must be shown in approaching him, and no one but a good climber, with a steady head, sound lungs, and trained muscles, can successfully hunt him in his own rugged fastness. Whether it's sheep or sheep country, somewhere along the way, our fascination and appreciation for both has led us to conservation and stewardship. This is the itch we cannot scratch. The simple truth in today's world is, hunters put and keep sheep on the mountain. Without the monies and the aggressive observation-based input, the love of sheep by sheep hunters, the presently steady course of the wild sheep's existence on Earth will unquestionably be compromised. It is for all these reasons and more that the Mountain Hunter Hall of Fame exists. As the highest honor the Wild Sheep Foundation bestows, being an accomplished mountain hunter is only an entry-level checkmark on a long list of eligibility criteria. Hall of Fame inductees are therefore more than just sheep hunters. They personify the highest standards of a land, wildlife, and hunting ethic. They are a shining example to their peers within and outside the hunting community, and they have given back in time, passion, leadership, and resources to wild sheep, conservation, and the mission of the Wild Sheep Foundation itself. The lure of sheep country has claimed many souls. One such soul was Jack O'Connor, whose writing prose about the grand sheep hunt drew man to mountain like a magnet. He once wrote, "The sheep hunter is willing to climb until his lungs are bursting, to walk until his legs are dead and weary, to grow hungry and thirsty for great rewards. There is no halfway." The rewards of our Ironman sport are many, but none is greater than induction into the Mountain Hunter Hall of Fame. Recognition and awards are what we give to individuals. Ensuring that our wild sheep receive the necessary management and protection befitting of mountain royalty is why we give. Welcome to the Mountain Hunter Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mountain Hunter Hall of Fame Committee Chairman, J. Allen Smith.
Thank you, everyone. Tonight is a real honor to get to introduce one of the great guys in hunting. A guy who, no matter what he does, he always brings fun to it. A real personality. When I asked him what he does and what his passion is, he said, "I'm a plumber." Now, that leads into all kinds of great stuff right there. And it's not very often that I get to be up here to introduce a plumber, but it's especially rare when I get to introduce him into the most exclusive hunting fraternity in the world, the Mountain Hunter Hall of Fame. Now, many of you know this year's inductee is one of the truly unique characters in our hunting community. You know him as a passionate mountain hunter whose dedication has made it possible for him to hunt some of the toughest mountain species around the world. During his extensive travels around the world, he's been in a number of exciting and dangerous situations. This year's inductee has already survived a Super Cub plane crash. He's killed a charging Cape buffalo that dropped at his feet in Africa. He once saved the life of one of his sheep guides who'd fallen down a cliff. He gave him CPR and saved the man's life. Another time, he survived spending 3 nights in a Russian jail. Wait for it. Because he told me that he was taking pictures at the airport. And that's why they threw him in the pokey. Now, knowing Roger, we know that there might be other reasons why they threw him in jail, but we're going to stick with the taking pictures at the airport. That's what we're going for. Now, speaking of dangerous stuff, as I said earlier, this man works on septic tanks. So you want to talk about a dangerous occupation, because remember that there's only really the 3 main things you need to know about being a plumber. Payday's on Friday, crap flows downhill, and the most dangerous part of all is don't chew your fingernails when you're working on an old septic tank. And one other thing, I want to put a stop to the rumor that has been going around on the convention floor that Roger once posed for the centerfold for Plumber's Crack magazine. That is not true. I got it from a reliable source that that's not true. But seriously though, this is a man who lives every day to the fullest. He brings a sense of humor along as a companion on whatever he does and whatever he sets his mind to. He began his hunting sheep and goats back when no one had heard about these Super 20s and these Super 30s, when sheep hunts were many times a month-long affair or longer. These are the days when you had a very prized possession. If you had a rifle that shot 300 yards and was accurate at that kind of range, unlike today where we can get these fabulous rifles that are accurate out to 1,000 yards right out of the box. He was old school in it, doing it the old way. These were tough days to hunt, and it took a tough guy to hunt in those kinds of conditions. This year's recipient is the kind of guy that when I grow up one day, I want to be just like him. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and a privilege to introduce you to this year's Mountain Hunter Hall of Fame, Roger Sedgwick.
Good evening. What of a hell of a predicament I got into here. If I stumble when I'm going through these notes, it took us about 11 days and a few hours to go over them time after time. And I forget what I did, so I had to do it over again. But anyway, bear with me. I'd rather be hunting in Mongolia at 17,000 feet than to be here. So, good evening. Good evening to all of you. It's good to see you. I'll only probably thank you just one time. But anyway, back home they got a nickname for me. And I hope there's no ministers around here. But anyway, my nickname is called Sheepshed. Now, there's one purpose for being here. It ain't, not for me, but there's some people that should be recognized, and there's some things in this club that should be known to all of you. And I'm going to elaborate on down the line if I don't stumble on this. No. There's a person in this crowd. I hope he's in this crowd. Chris Kleinberger. Is Chris Kleinberger here? Would he please stand up? Chris Kleinberger and his brother were the instrumental people of years ago of foreign hunting and all over the world, matter of fact. And if it wasn't for those people, we wouldn't be here tonight. We'd be hunting rabbits and squirrels, which wouldn't be nothing wrong with it. But this man here is a real icon. He is great. So I want you to know, and I said to him today, Chris, you got to show up. So give him a hand. Another thing I got to mention, if Chris and his brother hadn't done what they did to explore all these things, I wouldn't have been able to travel around the globe 2.5 times. It sure helps to have these kind of people, and in this club. After 45 years of running around hunting, this sheep fever, there's no medication that'll touch it. You can't cure it. I don't know what it is about it. I went on 35 sheep hunts because of Chris and these guys, and I traveled around the world 2.5 times. Now, if you don't believe to have people like that, that's the way it is, and it's great. This club was formed, according to the experts. Kim told me this, and she's always right. 1974. And at that time, I don't know if you know this or not, but this is one of the main reasons I'm up here. This club was in financial straits. It was a mess. And so we got some headhunters out, and they went down and found a guy down in Texas. His name, I think a lot of you know, or maybe you don't know, that's our CEO, President Graythorne. And along with that, of course, I'll catch hell from Kim about this, but anyway, they got a staff. You call over there, and they'll get back to you in at least 6 or 8 months later. And another thing I should mention too, the board members, the ones on the board, that's a good bunch. I think they got 11 on there. And just now, look at the way this club is growing. There was 400 people in this club back when I joined it in Texas on the desert. You're over 7,000 members right now. Imagine 7,000. And Gray told me, and going up, it isn't standing still, it's still rolling. Now, telling you that disaster about this financial situation, the good part of it is, after Gray and all these people assisting them, now you're solvent. Now, if you don't understand what solvent means, get your financial, go check with your banker, but you got your head above water, and that bothered me. And I got that magazine, and I thought, I'm going to go to the back and see really what that accountant did. And I just about flipped. Now, that's 7 years ago, going on 8. You people should be very proud, every damn one of you, of really what's doing this. I want to thank you people for the award they gave me. I've said I don't deserve it. I'm going to say this. There's all kinds of you people out there, men and women, that are sheep hunters that should have this award. It means a lot to me as a broken down plumber to have an award. Never, ever did I think I would ever be able to have something like this done. So I want to thank you again as a broken down plumber. I'll say it anyway. Your shit is my bread and butter.
Well done.